My wife cheated on me with her lover, and I saw it happen. My revenge was sweet and truly unforgettable. Hey Reddit. For the longest time, I thought my wife, Sarah, and I had the perfect marriage. We met in college, dated for 5 years, and tied the knot in a beautiful ceremony surrounded by friends and family. She was my best friend, my partner, my everything. I worked hard to provide for us, and she worked part-time while pursuing her passion for art. Life wasn't perfect, but we were happy, or so I thought. It started small, as it always does. Sarah began spending more time at the studio or with her art friends. She'd come home later than usual, her excuses flimsy but just plausible enough to pass. At first, I shrugged it off. She had her world, and I had mine. But then there were the subtle changes, the way she'd smile at her phone, the sudden password on her devices, the perfume that wasn't hers lingering faintly on her clothes. My gut told me something was wrong, but I didn't want to believe it. One evening, as she left for yet another art meeting, I decided to follow her. My heart pounded in my chest as I trailed her car through the city. She eventually pulled into the parking lot of a swanky hotel. My mind raced with possibilities, each more devastating than the last. I parked discreetly and watched as she walked into the lobby with a man I'd never seen before. He was tall, well-dressed, and confident. They were laughing, their body language screaming intimacy. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My world shattered as I sat there in my car, watching my wife of 7 years walk away with another man. For a moment, I wanted to storm in and confront them, to demand answers. But then a strange calm washed over me. I realized I needed a plan, not an emotional outburst. I spent the next few days gathering evidence. I installed a small GPS tracker in her car and set up a hidden camera in our bedroom. Yes, our bedroom. It didn't take long to confirm what I already knew. Sarah and her lover, who I later found out was a married man named Andrew, were meeting regularly. The footage I collected was damning, and while it crushed me, it also fueled my resolve. I wasn't going to let this slide. Instead of confronting Sarah immediately, I decided to hit her where it would hurt the most. I reached out to Andrew's wife, Emily. She was devastated when I shared the evidence, but she also proved to be an invaluable ally. Together, we concocted a plan to expose their affair in the most public and humiliating way possible. Emily and I arranged a fake business dinner at the same hotel where they often met. She invited Andrew, pretending to patch things up, and I invited Sarah, telling her it was a surprise celebration for our anniversary. Both cheaters showed up, unaware of what awaited them. We booked a private dining room and set up a projector. Once everyone was seated, I stood up to make a toast. I could see Sarah fidgeting, probably wondering why I was acting so strangely. I began by thanking her for our years together and then shifted to how much I'd learned recently. That's when I clicked the remote, and the projector lit up. The room fell silent as photos and videos of their trysts played on the screen. Gasps echoed around the room, and Sarah's face turned pale. Andrew tried to say something, but Emily cut him off, throwing a glass of wine in his face. The aftermath was chaos. Sarah ran out of the room in tears, while Andrew tried to smooth things over with Emily, who wasn't having any of it. I walked out with a sense of satisfaction, knowing I'd taken control of the situation. But I wasn't done. I filed for divorce the next day, attaching all the evidence of infidelity to the paperwork. I also made sure Sarah's family knew what she'd done, no more hiding behind lies. Meanwhile, Emily filed for divorce from Andrew. As for my revenge, it didn't stop there. I sold the house Sarah and I shared, split the proceeds, and moved to a new city to start fresh. I also exposed Andrew at his workplace, where he was a high-level executive. His company didn't take kindly to the scandal, and he was forced to resign. Sarah tried reaching out to apologize, but I wasn't interested. She begged for forgiveness, claiming she'd made a mistake, but it was too little, too late. I told her I hoped she and Andrew would be very happy together, a lie, of course, since I knew their relationship was already falling apart under the weight of their own guilt and betrayal. Now, I'm rebuilding my life, focusing on myself and my happiness. The pain of betrayal doesn't disappear overnight, but knowing I didn't let them walk all over me has made the healing process a little easier. As for Sarah and Andrew, I hear through the grapevine that their relationship ended shortly after the divorce was finalized. Karma has a funny way of catching up to people.